like you brought up, it's communication. And like that for some reason is such a wild card term. Like you need, like a relationship has to be mutually beneficial. And that's on the customer side and the carrier side. And you like customers know that they're not right all the time. You need to take that approach to them though. You cannot be afraid to bring stuff up to your customers, because if you're afraid that they're going to drop you, they don't value what you're bringing to them.
Yep.
And I just think that there's so many people out there. I mean, I'm guilty of it too. I've done that. I've eaten too many truck order not used that I'm proud to admit, because I didn't ask the customer. It's not because the customer wouldn't have paid it. I didn't ask them because I didn't want them to think I was nickel and diming them. Then
Yep.
the further I get in my career, I find out, no, we have a budget for truck order not used, and we need you to tell us these things, especially if they're using a co-packer, because that's how we judge who we use.
Mhm.
So think about that. You're costing yourself money. So any freight brokerages who are listening to this right now, if you're not charging your customer truck order not use or detention, they don't know how to properly judge their facilities. Their analysts see it as, hey, these guys who we're working with right now do a fantastic job. Let's not change. When it turns out 30% of their trucks are held 6 to 8 hours, and their drivers are showing up and the product's not ready, but you just pretty much just eat it.
So I'll give you a real world example of that
Yeah.
actually happening. So there's a facility in Illinois that we would pick up from. I can't remember. It would go to multiple different
Is it out of Joliet, Illinois by chance?
Jacksonville, Illinois.
Okay, never mind.
um, we had the biggest problem because we would have calls with this customer daily and then weekly. We had a carrier captain and then carrier manager, whatever.
Yep.
That carrier manager would go through all EDI, right? So they would say, okay, looks like you arrived on time to the shipper, and it average dwell times 4.5 hours. What's going on? Well, the shipper is taking long, and or they would say, hey, you're late to the consignee continuously. What's happening here? Well, we're getting to Jacksonville on time, but they're not able to load in time with the transit that you're giving us for the drop dead date to get to your consignee. So they said, okay, well, let us sit back and we're going to figure out what we're going to do. So eventually they said, okay, we're going to maybe change some drop dead dates. But the end process that happened with that was they changed that facility to a drop trailer facility. So the next RFP the next year, we could have bid on it knowing that it was drop trailer, but they wanted drop trailer capacity. So that was something we didn't handle, so we didn't bid it. Mm-hmm. But the point is, if you don't tell your customer what's going on at their shippers and consignees, and they're not willing to listen either, there's a problem in and of itself. So you have to tell them what the problem is. It's not easy to talk about problems, right? But it's going to become a bigger problem if you don't talk about it. So if it's a truck order not used, if it's dwell times, if it's detention, request those things. Those accessorials, they are money. Then they're big money. So you need to really sit down and figure that out, and figure that out with your customers.
No.